college football player props here on PrizePicks for Saturday, November 2nd. Before we get started, you guys, link in the description below of this video. Join the Discord, you guys, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. Currently doing a special for first-time members, you guys, 20% off the first month. Comes out to like $7 for the full month. Link in the description below for that. Also want to mention, I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice, simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. Also want to talk about Daily Grand Fantasy, you guys. Again, the DFS Optimizer is an absolute elite tool that I do use on a regular basis. If we're going over here to the college football board, which again, college football has a ton of discrepancies, and Daily Grand does all the hard work for you, right? Currently, this is Friday at me recording this video, but like, for example, Avery Johnson, under 22.5 fantasy score, because like traditional sports books don't offer fantasy score lines, Daily Grind does all the hard work. They take, his rushing attempts, passing yards, and things like that, and they combine it for 1% odds to hit. So giving us a 53.76% odds to hit, given that his fantasy score line essentially on Caesars would be 21. Again, link in the description below, promo code TUFF, 25% off your first month. Checking out Daily Grand Fantasy. But let's get into, you guys, two player props that I do like for this college football Saturday, November 2nd slate. I think we're like in week 10 now. Pretty crazy. But nonetheless, two player props that I do like. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. The first play I'm looking at here is going to be RJ Harvey. I like his over 22.5 fantasy score running back for UCF. Taking a look specifically at this matchup, or specifically RJ Harvey, he's kind of the entire offense for this team. He is over this line in 6 of 8 games of the season. It's a floor of 13.5 fantasy. Coming off back-to-back weeks of 26.7 and 31.6 in these conference matchups here. And I like this spot a lot. We're taking a look here specifically at Arizona, who they are facing in this one. Let's take a look at the game total real quick. Just take a look at this. I think it's supposed to be a super close game at UCF, and there is supposed to be a little rain here as well, which I think just attributes to UCF looking to, put the ball on the ground and run the football. Both these teams 3-5, 55.5 game total, and UCF's going to be 6-point favorites here at home. So again, game script and just as far as the lines on the books go, this is an absolute a great spot, right, overall. But more specifically, going back to Arizona, they are allowing, let's see, in the Big 12, they are allowing around 155 rushing yards per game here to opposing running backs. But why I like this play a lot here, we look at RJ Harvey, over 1.5 rushing, or over 1.5 anytime touchdown is plus 100, right? I think it's a demon on PrizePicks, but is over anytime touchdown, like for him to just score a touchdown tomorrow during this game, minus 500 on Caesars, right? He's got a touchdown in 8 of his last 10 games. But more specifically, when we look here at RJ Harvey, 22.5 fantasy score, this game total is 55.5. If there's 46 total points scored in this one, he's over this line in 9 of his last 10, averaging 30.33 fantasy points, right? Giving us a super high floor for this matchup here against Arizona. And Arizona, again, not great at stopping the run. We look at kind of how Arizona's played this season against the rush. They're 90th in the country at yards per attempt, 62nd in total rushing TDs. We look at kind of games specifically. Arizona, like I said, they are 19.7 fantasy points per game. Or actually, let me filter this to PPR real quickly. Arizona PPR running backs PPR scoring against Arizona. Yeah, they're ranked 10th in the Big 12, 22.7 PPR fantasy points they are allowing to running backs. When we look at running backs game log this season specifically versus Arizona, LJ Martin, running back for BYU, he put up just a couple weeks ago 23 PPR fantasy points, which would clear the over on this line. Again, he did most of his work through the air, 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. We look at the running backs for West Virginia, right? That's kind of a split backfield. Jaheim White had 12 carries, 92 yards, 7.7 yards per carry. C. Jonathan, 8 carries, 41 yards, and a rushing touchdown, 5.1 yards per carry. We look here at Taj Brooks, a very similar profile as far as usage and volume than RJ Harvey, or to RJ Harvey. Against Arizona, 27.1 fantasy. He ran for 128 and 3 rushing touchdowns. We look again here at Utah running back Michael Bernard, 5.7 yards per carry, 16 carries for 91 rushing yards. Again, Utah in that game only scored 10 points total. We look at Kansas State. DJ Giddens had 86 yards for a rushing touchdown here as well. And then New Mexico, Devon Dampier, rushing quarterback, had 130 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So it's a great spot for RJ Harvey. He's over this line, like I said, in what is he over in this season? This season he's over this line, I think, in 6 of 9 games is what I said. All 6 games this season, when 46 total points are scored, he's over this line. And then in general, across the whole board this season, he is over in 6 of 8 games, averaging 28.03 fantasy points per game. Again, in minus 500 to score a rushing touchdown. Going back to RJ Harvey here, in games when he does, or to score anytime touchdown, sorry. In games this season when he does score a touchdown, his floor is 17.5 fantasy. Again, if he scores a touchdown, I think the floor here is going to be around 18, 19 fantasy points for him. I like that upside a lot here for RJ Harvey with a little bit of rain. Again, also quarterback play is iffy for UCF, which is just, to me, attributes more work for RJ Harvey. The second play here is going to be Sawyer Robertson, over 22 fantasy, quarterback for Baylor versus TCU in this one. This matchup is just going to be fireworks. 63.5 game total, 3-point spread. Baylor 3-point favorites here. At home at Baylor, we look at Sawyer Robinson this season. He is over this line he's over this line in 5 of his last 5 weeks, right? Really, since those first 3 games of the season, he's gone for 28, 31, 23, 32.6, and 33.2 fantasy points. He is over this line in he's over this line in his 2 games here at home as far as conference play goes. OK State 33.2, BYU 31.9. But specifically, Sawyer Robinson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You can see the juice, minus 194, minus 180 on bet 365 this season. When Sawyer Robinson does throw 2 passing touchdowns, he is over this line in every single game pretty easily. 28, 23, 31. Or he's actually over. If he throws 2 passing touchdowns, he's over this line. I like the rushing upside for him as well. You can see he's got multiple rushing touchdowns this season. He's actually got 4 rushing touchdowns, a ton of rushing yard upside as well. And then again, Sawyer Robinson in games, 63.5 game total. If we talk about total points scored again here over on Outlier, there's a link in the description. 49 total points this season. He's averaging 29.89 fantasy points over in all 5 games this season. And then again, we also look at who they're playing this week. TCU, they do rank 20th. They rank 10th in the conference in fantasy points to the quarterback position, 23.2 fantasy points. We look at just some similar types of quarterbacks. Last week, Brand Morton and Will Hammond kind of split the backfield, and Ben Morgan got hurt, right? It was definitely a weird game, so I'm not going to really mention that one. Obviously, kind of split backfield, but like KJ Jefferson against TCU went for 230 and 3 passing touchdowns. And had 46 rushing yards. This would have easily been over. And KJ Jefferson, I don't think is as talented as Sawyer Robinson, 25.8 on the road at TCU. And then also we look at Kevin Jennings, quarterback for Southern Methodist versus TCU. He also very kind of dual threat type of quarterback. He put up only 15.6. Maybe a fumble? I don't know why, but only 15.6. He only threw for 137 passing yards. Again, very similar type of quarterback to Sawyer Robinson. But I love this spot here. Massive game total at home, 3-point spread. Both quarterbacks should be absolute shootout. 2 player props for this YouTube video, guys. College football, Saturday, November 2nd. Please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.